Right. Awesome. Hello to anybody. If you guys can hear me yet, it is 2 o'clock, but we're going to give it about one more minute to let everybody join in before we start on this webinar today. So just hang tight with me for another minute while we get everything up and running. It looks like some of you guys have raised hands. If you do have questions, feel free to post them in the Q&A section. We have several panelists that are standing by ready to answer any questions that you might have. Feel free to chat those over there at any point during the webinar if you do have questions. And then at the end, we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A. And that we'll answer some questions live while we're here, especially some that are important that our panelists think are important. So we'll be answering those questions then too. All right, so it looks like it's about 2:01, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today, we're going to be doing a walkthrough for you guys when winter weather strikes. We're going to be talking about our ability to send out alerts based on your weather. It's a system that we have that we call our Stratus Weather Monitor. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. There are a couple points that I want to bring up to you before that. So we're going to talk about a couple general cleanup tips as well. But I'm really excited that you guys are all here. Thank you for RSVPing, signing up. If you are listening to this later, we are sending out a recording of this webinar to you as well. And if you want to get that and you haven't gotten it, let our support staff know. We can get it over to you. All right, let's see. All right, I'm your presenter. That's me. My name's Carrie. I'm a customer success manager with High Ground Solutions. I've been working with High Ground Solutions for several years now. It's a wonderful company to work for, and we've got a great staff and a great support staff as well. Happy to answer your questions. This is a little bit about us and our company. We've been around for a long time, and we've really specialized in helping you with your mass communication needs, specifically with emails, voicemails, and text messages. And so if you have any questions about us, I'll be providing some information later on how you can get in touch with us if you would like to purchase, if you are not a current client, or if you are a client and you see some features that you don't currently have, we will get you the information that you need. Real quickly, I'm going to ask a poll question to get us started. So that is, how do you typically notify your audience when weather strikes? And this could be, a tornado, a hurricane, anything like that. But specifically right now, in the month of January, we're thinking about, snow, ice, blizzards, any kind of winter weather advisory. I know that where I'm located is in the Southern Hemisphere or the southern part of the United States, and we don't typically get snow, but every once in a while we get ice, and it can be very dangerous for us because our counties and cities are not really well equipped for that because it doesn't happen very often. So this is just something to think about here. How often are you communicating with your audience about, winter weather or extreme weather events? And then how are you communicating to them? And then just take a minute to think it through and think about whether the way that you are communicating with your audience is working. I can see your poll results right now, which is great. I would say that the majority of you guys are doing email or text message, which I think is really, really great. There's actually quite a big percentage for all of the above as well. So that's really interesting. You guys are great. I'm going to keep that poll going for a little bit longer, but I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Let's see here. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about, and like I said, we're going to be talking about the Stratus Weather Monitor, but before we talk about that, I want to cover a couple of housekeeping issues with your account through High Ground. So the first thing is to make a plan. And everybody always says this. One of the things that that comes to mind is like if you have a car, you want to make sure that you have things like a flashlight and a blanket and a couple things like that, just in case you get stranded in your car, right? So you have a plan already in place. This is kind of a similar situation. You want to make sure that in your account, your data is up to date. That's something that we would love to help you with. Part of what I do personally is data integration, and I run spreadsheets for a lot of you guys on an almost daily basis, and I'm more than happy to continue to do that for you, answer any questions that you might have. We also have other team members that can do your data importing as well. So just think about that. Take a look at your account. Make sure that your data is up to date. It's not going to do anybody any good if you're trying to send a text message to people and half of them don't have a cell phone number. So there are certain ways that you can go through and make sure that everything is up to date and where it should be. Another thing to think about is to craft messages and templates. We have templates that are available for you to create. It's a really simple way to do that. And that's one way to get out, an alert like schools are closed due to snow, or there's a delay, or this road is closed, or et cetera. There are different templates that you can use. A lot of these things, you just want to make sure that you are ready at a moment's notice. And along with that, something really important is to have the mobile command center. And that is our app. It's called the Mobile Command Center. We'll talk about that in just a second. That way, your alerts can be seen immediately. And that's exactly what we want to help you accomplish. So first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to talk about cleaning up your data. So this is a preemptive approach that you're going to use. Take a look at your data, especially on the users page. You're going to be able to see there, there's a search by criteria option that you have. That's a really quick way to see who doesn't have an email address, who doesn't have a cell phone number, who has no phone number at all. So there are different ways that you can kind of at a glance see who's missing what kind of contact information. So just think about doing that. You want to make sure that you've updated your users. If you do have an Excel or CSV spreadsheet of your updated users, if you don't have an automatic import going, you can feel free to send that to our support staff. We'll be more than happy to update your data for you, make sure that everything is where it should be. So let us help you. We are always here to help you with that. I think sometimes data can feel a little bit daunting, but our support staff is knowledgeable about how to get all of that in. The next thing I want to talk about is templates, and we touched on that just a little bit, but over here on the computer screen, you can see that we've got a little screenshot of our template page. Now to get there, all you have to do is hover over alerts and then click on templates. From here, you can choose, voice message, a text to speech option, text messaging, email, you name it. It's all there. You can use a pre-recorded voice if you want to. You could go ahead and record a new voice file if you wanted to. All of that is there. You can also create categories, to store your templates in. I think it's a really great idea, especially to have, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 10 templates that you use on a regular basis. I know that some of our clients are malls, and one of the big issues for them is an active shooter template. So that's not weather related, but that's just an example of a template that they use very often for alerts or warnings or different things like that. So these enable you to launch your alerts much faster, and you can use them from the website directly from the Send Alert page or from the mobile app. So they're available both ways, and it can be used for an emergency or a non-emergency. Any kind of alert that you're sending out on a regular basis or in an extreme event, like if you're shutting down your organization due to weather concerns, those are the 2 examples of when you would want to use a template the most. So our mobile app, this is a screenshot here of our mobile app. If you haven't heard of it, it's called the Mobile Command Center. We hope that you'll look at it and give it a download. You'll use your normal login, username, and password. It's super easy. Now, the mobile app is designed to be a bit simpler than the website, so you're not going to be able to edit user information or add a new user or anything like that. The mobile app is designed for exactly what you're seeing in this screenshot. You want to be able to send your alert immediately and quickly. So that's, I think, one of the benefits, honestly, of the mobile app is it's really, really easy to use. So again, it's called the Mobile Command Center. It's available on Apple and the Google Play Store. You can use all your different kinds of alerts, voice, text to speech, text message, emails, everything like that. And like I mentioned earlier, you do have access to your templates that you can do, and you can also view your alert reports there as well to see, who got the alert, who didn't get the alert. So all that information is there. So if you don't have our mobile app, we highly recommend that you get that, especially in a situation with weather. Say, a hurricane is coming through and you're on the coast and you lose power. You're not going to be able to access the website, and you don't want to go to the website on your phone because that would just be that tiny screen that would be really hard. So go ahead and download our mobile app today. Make sure that you have it and your login credentials are there. If you need to save them, on your phone settings, that's also a really quick way to do it. I know mine will open with my thumbprint, which is a really quick way. Saves me a couple seconds there. All right, so the meat of what we're going to talk about today is our Stratus Weather Monitor. If you have not heard of this before, it does exist. It is on your account. And for those of you who do not see it on your account, let our support staff know. We can enable it for you. Just let us know. So we're going to just talk about a couple of different things here. What you're seeing over here on the left-hand side of your screen is where you would create a weather monitor alert, okay? And it's going to ask you for specifications like your location, what type of alert you want to send out, and all of that. And we'll walk through how to do that. So what you would do to find that page is you would hover over alerts, and then you would click on weather monitor, and it's there. In the middle of your screen is an example of a text message that was sent with the weather monitor alert. And that's, it's kind of like a hyperlink where you can actually click on it. And when you click on it, it brings over finally on the right side of your page with the National Weather Service alerting you to exactly what's going on in your area. So I think that that's really, really great. It's not just, we're using the National Weather Service. We're not necessarily using anything that we've homegrown for you, so that you can get more information. So this is a little bit more about the Stratus. What you want to do, the very first step that I recommend doing, is you want to set up a group, and that's going to be your weather alert group. Now, what I highly recommend doing is only have administrators or that level 2, like manager, faculty, staff, user in that group, okay? And you want to do that because we have seen people in the past who create a group and they put everybody in the group, and now all of a sudden, thousands of people are getting these alerts about weather. And that may be cool for some people, but I don't think I personally would want to get those alerts. So the reason that we tell you to only put administrators or possibly the level 2 users in that group is because you want those to be your decision makers, okay? So say you have 5 administrators that are in charge of your entire high ground account. You would want them to be in a group. And a lot of times when I create these groups, I will label them like weather monitor or Stratus admins or something like that. That way, those 5 users will be alerted to a weather event in your area. And then at that point, they can then make the decision on whether or not they want to reach out to their specific groups. If it's a school situation, if you're going to reach out to the entire school. If you have multiple locations, maybe you only want to reach out to the location that was the most affected. We do have several clients that have locations all over the country. So you don't necessarily want people in California being notified about a blizzard warning in New Hampshire, because it doesn't affect them. So think about having a group. Put your important people in that group who are your decision makers, and then let them decide whether or not they're going to send out an alert. And in that situation, your template is going to come in handy. So if your decision makers decide, yes, we need to notify our organization, they could quickly pull up a template that they've already created for a weather, event, and then send it out within seconds. When you are setting up your weather event, you want to choose the most important one. So here on the computer screen, you can see the number one, that is add a new weather event alert monitor. Right there, you will decide which one you want to do. Winter weather, snow, tornado, I mean, you name it, there's a whole bunch there. The one thing I want to draw your attention to are the two options at the very bottom. The advisories, watches, and warnings is going to send you exactly that. It's going to send you the most information and the most text messages. Okay. Now, I'm the kind of person who thinks, I just really want to know, like, in our area, we get tornadoes. I want to know if it's really close. So I would click the button for warnings only in that situation, because that's the one that's really serious. The next thing is that you'll select your location. Here, you're going to select your state and your county, but you can also use a location filter. You can also set up more than one location if you'd like to. So the next type is you're going to be selecting how you want to notify your users, and you can select text to speech, email, or SMS. Voicemail is not available for this because we're not going to use your voice to send out the message. It's actually coming from NOAA, so we're going to be using that text right there, which is a little bit more official. So that's a little bit about our weather monitor. Here are some great things that some people have had to say about our support staff. We really appreciate all of that. One of the things I want you to see down at the very bottom of your screen on the right-hand side, that burgundy bubble is our little chat bubble. And this is a new feature that we have with our website. It is a way for you to immediately connect with our support staff. So right there, you have the option to search for relevant articles, answering any questions you might have. But if you weren't aware already, there is an option there to chat live with us. I know I personally man that chat for a portion of the day, and I love talking to you guys. It is instantaneous. It's the quickest way to get in touch with us, and we love communicating with you that way. If you do have any questions, please let us know. You can contact us at the number and email address there, as well as using the chat beacon. So feel free to chat us up, let us know how we're doing, and if you do have any questions, especially about the weather monitor that we talked about today, how to get that turned on for you guys, or anything else that we can help you with. Before we jump into the Q&A section, I just wanted to do one more thing and talk to you guys about those takeaways. So the first thing that you guys want to do is you want to create a checklist. You want to create a checklist of all of the things just in case an emergency comes up. And this is also something that you'll want to do to walk through with your staff maybe once or twice a year, kind of like when we were in school and we did those, tornado drills and things like that, or a fire drill. It's the same kind of thing. We just want to make sure you're all on the same page. The next one is download our mobile app, the Mobile Command Center. If you haven't already done that, I highly recommend that you do. Also, enable the Stratus Weather Monitor for your account. If you don't see it listed under alert, let our support staff know. We'll be more than happy to enable it for you. And always remember, we're here to help you. We want you to see you use our product to the fullest of its ability, and nothing brings us more joy in our job than knowing that you are well prepared in the event of an emergency. So click on that little beacon, chat with us if you'd like, give us a call. We are more than happy to help. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to just our website here. You can email our support staff, give us a call, and as always, check out the beacon. The chat feature is really awesome. So thank you guys, and take care and stay safe.